It was daytime. I was not feeling well, so I slept. And when I slept, I've had many moments of humpak. This one was different. This one was my eyes managed to open halfway. And the first thing I see is a woman on my chest. Its hair, its claws, and it was growling at me.
Growling?
It was peeping at me with its red eyes, and it was just going. And I'm just like, whoa.
Heyo, welcome back. I'm Moe.
I'm Fairil.
To another episode of Naik Bulu Tales.
And we are here again.
How you been? How's your week been?
It's been pretty tiring, to be honest. You know, starting a new opportunities soon. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. With more money, more honeys for you.
Well, I don't know about that.
I mean, that's what I want to ask. You're still super single, by the way, guys. So sorry about that.
Let's not go there. This is not a dating show.
Super single. Oh yeah, that's right. It's not a dating show. It's nice. But Naik Bulu Tales could be a dating show.
Naik Bulu.
Okay.
Anyways.
Yes. Okay.
Welcome to another episode of Naik Bulu Tales. We are here to tell you, to share with you people's ghostly experiences of the supernatural. You know, and we are big lovers of the supernatural since we've been young, watching a lot of horror stories, ghost stories, and we've been very, enamored.
Yes. Well, this platform is basically an area, a place where people can freely tell their stories
without being judged,
and we automatically believe them.
Yeah.
And we are two of the most skeptical people in the world, but this is a platform, when you go through supernatural things, it's a mental game, right? So if you're going through it alone, then how does anyone believe you, right? So this is for you guys, whoever wants to come on and tell their story.
Yeah, I mean, we've been having a lot of awesome guests telling a lot of awesome stories and creepy stories. And today's guest.
Today's special guest. He is
an old friend.
Yes, one of the younger brothers of two brothers that we went to school with.
And he's I don't know.
He's also he's making waves in the fitness industry, right?
No, I mean, he's big guy.
Surrounded by women, men here and there.
So
who do we have here?
Without further ado, we have Aiman Asmawar.
Aiman,
welcome to our podcast, man.
Good to be here.
Thanks for being here.
How you been? You good?
Good.
I haven't seen you forever.
It's
too long, right? It's been too long.
That's what my mom said.
Well, go visit her more often, please.
Bro. Come on, man.
Because you are your youngest brother, Firdaus, right?
Youngest is Firdaus.
Yes. Yeah. How he's been? We haven't heard from him in a while.
He is quite occupied.
Right.
He's quite occupied. We live together and I don't see him.
Oh, wow. How old are you
now? 39 this year.
Whoa. Dang.
Time flies, huh?
Because you look 19. I mean,
hold on a second.
39.
You are only...
When did that happen, right?
You're 2 years younger than me.
No, I can't believe that, because when we were hanging out a lot, it felt like your gap was so much more.
Yeah, right. I thought so too.
Yeah, dang.
But all the brothers, actually, all four brothers are very...
You know why? It doesn't make me feel so old.
Yeah. Actually, all four of you brothers you guys look great, healthy, and you're all very successful. So congrats.
Thank you.
Why don't you just really quickly to the audience, let them know what you do for those that don't know who you are.
Now, what I've been doing the past decade, pretty much, I've been focusing on the world of fitness, specifically rhythmic fitness, spinning and boxing.
Right.
Now more eccentrically to spinning. And I've kind of opened up a studio, sold my own studio off, and now I'm representing another studio, running the business for them.
Wow.
And also consulting, building programs. I'm more of wanting to help the industry rather than having my own space kind of thing, right? So, but I still love coaching, so I'm running classes at the same time,
nice.
While consulting and helping people open up the business as well.
Yeah. Do you do anything else aside from?
I do. I do agency work, marketing and branding.
Right.
More to retainer or project basis and production as well. Yeah.
Nice.
Occupied.
Very occupied.
A little production person. Perfect.
And we hear from your brother that you've also had very occupied with the supernatural back in the day.
Yes.
Which is why we were very excited to have you here. So yeah, the platform is yours, man. Why don't you? What's the first story you got for us?
First story. I'm gonna go way back. You know, it's funny because you brought this up, and this happened because I've been thinking about it a lot in the past year or two, where when you hear stories from people, when you meet a lot of things, you realize not normal, right? To time and time, but when you're in the moment and you've gone through it, you just take it for granted, bypassing. It's just another day, right? I was really young. Came back from China. I was living in KL. I went to a Chinese school called Kuan Cheng at Jalan Lorong Belfield, where Kampong Atap is. Quite a famous place now. Hip.
Yeah.
You should have seen it back then.
Zhongshan.
You'll never want to walk through that hood, man.
Yeah. Atap is very, very stylish now.
It's back then though.
You can imagine. Yeah, right.
Back then. So government quarters. It was a really big compound. It was about, I think, 4.5 acres wide.
Wow.
Big.
Wait, I do. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys has been there.
I've been to your Shah Alam house. So was that before?
Okay, when I knew you guys, that house was around. We were staying there.
Right.
So my memory goes as far as that was my first encounter where sleeping at night, because the house is built where it's slightly higher than the normal house height. It's like a stilt house, but it's all bricked. The reason because of that, because KL is quite common to be flooded, and also colonial houses, they built it that way so that it's much more cooling at the bottom, and it's very high ceiling, very high ceiling. So my first encounter was many times at the room where you'll see shadows walking by the window. That doesn't make sense because no one's that tall.
Wait.
Oh my!
You mean the window at the top?
No, on the ground. Everything's ground floor.
Because the elevated, the house is.
The house is slightly elevated by at least 4 feet.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can't reach the window.
Yeah.
Generally,
I see.
right?
Yeah.
So what happened was I could see a body walking by my window. Just to let you know, when I mentioned walk by the window, these colonial houses, the window frames are the crystallized type of old school. Where you kind of see everything, but it's not.
What do you call it? It's like frosted.
It's not frosted, but it's crystallized.
Stained glass. Like
stained glass.
Church
stained glass.
Stained glass.
Exactly, right? So you'll see the figure and you can't make out the person.
That's creepy.
Because if you usually see a person, it's probably like the silhouette softer, but it's more wider and a lot of sharp features.
Right.
So it's crystallized walking by, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right.
That's one. And it keeps on coming often, and sometimes it'll just start tapping on the window.
Oh damn!
And my room is just there, right there. Like I would just pause and freeze and sweat myself, just staring at it.
Wow.
So I always assume that it's actually people coming, jumping over the gate to look for food or trying to rob the place. I assumed, but after a while, I understood that there was a ceremony that happened for me. That apparently I'm too sensitive to these visuals, that I had to shut my third eye.
Wow.
Yeah.
You already have a third eye that's been open since you were born?
Apparently.
When you say this goes way back, how old were you? What was the age like?
When that happened, I was 7 turning 8.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but after many years, and I realized what I encountered, only then I realized that before that closing eye ceremony, I've seen a lot of people which no one have seen. I've spoke to a lot of people that no one has spoken to.
So you're literally the sixth sense kid.
So I could never differentiate. All I know is they look a bit deformed. That's about it. So I couldn't tell. If you recall my memory, I'm not too certain which is real, which is the will of this.
When you say deformed, are their face distorted, or what kind of deformity?
You can see that they might be a kid, but at the same time they look like they have a lot of years aged in them.
Wow.
But it's a kid. It looked like this kid has been living around for like 80, 90 years, but it's a kid. Yeah, you can see the maturity in the eyes. There's a lot of definition in the eyes rather than the skin looking old.
Wow, so you actually really can focus and see the details of their faces.
Yes.
This is the first time I've heard anyone really be able to describe what something they see.
Because I only started to articulate this further when maybe a decade ago, a business partner of mine, he's sensitive to these things.
Right.
So he started explaining the things I've seen it was actually an interview for a job. He was my boss that ended up becoming a business partner for a while before he passed away. He had a sixth sense too, and he could see it through me. And when he explained it, only then my mind just started to open up. Like all these senses that I've forgotten just made sense. All these memories start opening like pages. I'm like, oh my God, this guy literally opened up my book. Yeah. Then I start to realize, and the more I think about it, the more I trigger a lot of memories. And then I'm like, oh my God, I remember everything.
Wow.
And then when I approached my mom about it, she said, yeah.
She's like,
she's like, yeah, that all happened. I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom.
Does your father and brother believe you?
I don't talk about it to anyone. But my dad is the one that is on the spiritual side, sixth sense side, because it was my granddad my dad's father that did the ceremony for me.
Okay, got it.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So your granddad kind of like, okay, we better close that eye.
That's nice that your mom is supportive, because she understood that you had this gift.
Yeah.
And she was not encourage you, enabled, I guess, a little bit. But it's good that you have that support. Yeah. Instead of a mother who was like, no, you're just seeing things. Right?
Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting, where I guess back then, all the time difference of what you see in the modern day world now, those things were quite common, I guess. There was not much things that are more based on technology, like how we're more accessible to things, right? So things are much more simple. So I guess these things are a bit more accepting. Right, and it's like considered normal, but it shouldn't happen, but it does happen. As compared to nowadays, we're so focused to a lot of things that are more so material. Urban, material, technology, AI, that when we hear it, it's so foreign to us. You get me?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It just becomes phased out. You know?
Phased out. Years and years ahead, went to the States, came back, lived in Shah Alam, the house that you guys came to before, in Section 6. Eventually, my granddad passed away, and they were talking about, it's looking for a host. Like, what's this term? They're like saka baka. For those who don't know what saka baka means, saka is the good and the baka is the bad, or like what ancestral things, right? Usually your saka is the things that's latching on you. Baka is something that is already in you.
Baka is new to me.
I've
never.
Okay, saka baka. Yeah.
Is it?
Saka is the things that is been given through.
Yeah, it's like passed down.
Baka is the built up of the good things that you practice for many, many generations. For example, if your great grandfather is religious, that pillars will be sustaining you.
That baka.
Okay. But if you don't have your baka, it doesn't go down. It becomes a saka from the ancestral. What you do today from your habits, your own prayers, your own belief, your own internal strength becomes your baka pillar. So you will automatically eliminate your saka.
Oh, that is so fascinating.
Just like, what? My third eye is open.
So a lot of people that are a bit more prone to sensitivity to saka are usually because their own pillars of faith is not strong, which is their baka.
Right.
It makes sense?
It makes sense.
Then they're easily manifested by a lot of things around to them because they didn't get their internal strength strong yet. It could be through religious understanding, belief, or just enjoying life, for example, right? That's why the most happiest people are the most efficient people in life, because they're not prone to realize this saka is there. Up to the point it's non-existent, right?
Right, yeah.
Wow. Pretty interesting, right?
So but what I understand is not everyone will have a saka, but can everyone have a baka?
Yes.
Right. That one you create.
That one you create.
Baka's, I like that.
Interesting, right?
I like
so it's the attributes that you adapt, all the ethics, principles, and your own pillars from young. So that's why they say, niat tu penting. Right? And then your semangat tu penting. So your semangat is a form of that baka.
Of course. Because we all know that the story goes, if you have a weak heart or you have a weak mind, weak internal thingy, these are the things that will come and try to
so it's so interesting, right? It's like the equation of good and bad here, right? So how much good is in you that you've done so that the bad doesn't affect you? That's a simpler way to kind of see it.
It's fascinating.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back to the story.
Like a T-shirt saying saka baka, bro.
Naik Bulu Tales saka baka.
So going back to the story with my granddad passing away, eventually, I saw him right in front of my bed,
Oh,
Of course you did.
and he said, "It's okay. I'm here to take care of you."
wow.
And then when I slept, I dreamt that he told me specifically, I will make sure the saka don't get to you,
Wow.
because he was looking for a host.
Wow. Okay.
Interesting, right?
Hold on. Prior to that, you were saying that you kept hearing someone saying saka baka, saka. What was that?
You know, you pick it up here and there. You know?
It wasn't like your parents having a conversation about it or anything like that.
I can't remember specifically, but as an adult, I started to know about it more because people would talk about it.
Right. Okay. Oh,
that have
people
experience.
start. I thought you meant when you were in bed, you heard.
No.
Someone.
No.
Okay.
It's just something I understood when I was an adult.
His grandfather passed.
Yeah.
And then he overheard the saka baka thing.
Yeah. So when he was
Yeah.
saying that, I thought there were conversations outside your room or something. People were talking about it. Oh.
At that time, I only knew the term saka because they said the saka is looking for a host, but I didn't know the term
Baka.
of saka baka.
Right.
The complete analogy of it. Is that
Analogy,
correct?
analogy, yeah.
Analogy of it, right?
Yeah.
Sakas are the most difficult things to get rid of because once you have it when your ancestors, it has to be, especially women. The women who go through with saka, they have the worst. They have the worst.
Yeah.
I feel so bad because we had someone on and they were talking about sakas as well, and it just passes down.
Yeah.
But then you can't get rid of it, but you can mitigate
Compress
how
it.
much it affects you.
There you go. And it's normal. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's about how much you're willing to take it to influence yourself. A good example, which people don't realize in this common world, saka baka plays a big trait. For you to realize that it's there, is they always have this term or this American phrase, "You are your father's son."
Yeah.
That's an exactly replicate. You look like your father, for example. You
Right.
act like your father. That is 100% saka going down to you.
Right.
Not to say 100% is bad, but you should keep the good attributes and let go of the bad attributes. That's how it should be. But most people just say, "Yeah, I am my father. I am my mother.
Right,
my
right.
mother." Then your next kin also will always be there or worse.
Yeah.
At one point, there'll be a psychological breakdown because the things that intentionally or niyat actions that you want to take in daily will always be overruled by the emotion. You think it's the emotion. You think it's a psychological problem. It's actually the fact that you're not letting go of the old attributes. You're willing to succumb to it.
So what you're saying is sakas not necessarily mean it's a bad thing. I always felt that there was a lot of negative connotations with sakas. Sakas because they need to be fed. You know, but you're saying there are good sakas, sort of.
Let's just say, not to say it's necessarily good, but it's about how much you decline it in your system, right? You cannot be 100% pure because we're still humans, right?
Right.
Like you're good and bad, but it's there to trigger certain things for us to become better.
And the more, like you said, you know, the more your baka is stronger, that means you mitigate what that saka is will be.
Eventually, it'll just eliminate.
Yeah.
It'll be there, but it'll be dormant.
It'll be
You get me?
Damn it! I can't do anything to this kid. You know.
Correct.
So
the whole point is try to keep it as dormant as possible.
So after you had that dream with your grandfather telling you, like, what happened after that?
I had many scenarios with the saka where I was floating in my room.
Right.
And I woke up and I fell onto my bed because the fan was facing on my face. And then another session, I woke up in the closet.
Oh.
You sleepwalk or something.
I'm not sure. I woke up. I'm in the closet. I panicked. I opened the door. I ran in my room.
But floating in your room is more an out of body experience.
No. Physically.
You physically levitated.
I physically levitated. I remember every bit of it.
Get out of here, man.
I was just like, what? And I felt the whole impact, and that's when I knew. Because visually seeing anything and feeling the impact.
That's why I was wondering why he said the fan was hitting you. Like, if you were just your body out of spirit,
It's probably the fan falling on.
Wow, your body. This is at the old colonial house.
No, this one is the Shalom house.
Yes. Yeah.
It continues, right? It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
So it seems like three different stories, but at that point I never knew it all correlate until way later as an adult. Then when you look back, it all makes sense.
Yeah.
There is a reason why these things happen. It's a lead up. It's trying to manifest. It's trying to get in your system. It's, and we're adamant because we're not accepting it because we don't understand it. We're living a different life.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How is your third eye today? Like, has happened? Anything happened recently?
You know what's very interesting about third eye is I would say prior to this it's pretty on point, but it's always for the bad things. Right. Okay. So when you kind of like dwell into the world of the spirituality and understanding third eye and how you use it, is a lot of people, they want evidence, right? That's normal. We want facts. That's us human. We want the brain to digest that it's real by
physically seeing it,
feeling,
touching
right?
it.
Yeah. But sometimes we focus too much on the bad things because the bad things always make us realize that it works. But that's a very bad attribute, and that's when it all goes down south. So in the beginning, I naughty. So I'm like, I want to see it. Bring it to me.
This is a smaller thing, I think.
I want to believe it. Like, come on, challenge me, bitch. You know. But over the years, when you start to refine yourself, and even in your daily life, you start focusing on the things that just matter.
Yeah.
You only focus on the good energy.
Correct.
And these things just does not. You kind of see it, but it does not affect you. You're not even curious about it. You're like, oh okay. Sometimes you take a joke. You're like, chibai, you know. You know, but because you already know its capability is based on your well-being.
Yeah.
And how much you want it to affect you.
Yeah.
You get excited, That's why they say, don't acknowledge it. The more you acknowledge it, it'll grow. It's true. It's true. Because you're manifesting energy. It's feeding off of you. Because it's like, oh no, I'm real. But if you look at it more and you say, you're not real. You're not real. You're not real. Or you're like, you can't be real. The more you feel like, shit, I am nothing.
Okay.
For example, if you're really a ghost, I say 100% like that. Let me throw you back. Imagine like, Fairil, you're a ghost. You're like, I'm a ghost. I'm like, okay, you know what, bro? I'm tired of this. Let me prove it to me.
Right.
You're like, what do you mean? I'll be like, if you're really a ghost and you say you are, the bank is around the corner. Right? People go to the grave to get numbers and win. You say who you really are. Go get me the money right here, right now. You lay on the table. If you don't bring it here now, I'm gonna screw you up. You be like, I'm a small boy, nothing, no, right, bye. They act like that. It's pretty interesting, right? It's pretty interesting because you're not giving them the acknowledgement. But if you get acknowledgement, what do you really gain? Really, nothing. Just their energy to overcome you and always be stuck to you.
And it always comes down to, in our religion, it always comes down to, in the Quran says, you do not be afraid of, the jinns and all this. You got to be, because we are actually more superior.
We are made of everything that they're above, beyond in them. They're one thing. We are made of every one of them.
Yeah.
Right? So another word I want to bring on to here by accident. I didn't plan this, but it's called badi.
What's that?
So there's saka, baka, there's badi. So manifesting into something that is not really there, to make it there because you want to see it, becomes a badi. Badi, for example, is believing that the tree has a spirit.
Right.
You end up having scaly skin, like trees, or barky. Or you praying to the snake, and then eventually your next son will end up having scales. That's what we call badi.
Right.
Or you see a cat, you kick his head, and eventually you have the same illness as a cat. That's what we call badi.
But what
B-A-D-I.
Constitutes us getting that attribute as a badi? Like what?
That's a very good question. I'm not sure how to explain English, but basically it's also a form of that manifestation as well.
Right.
From my understanding, right? I'm not sure how to articulate.
But you can manifest anything, good and bad, correct? So it's just reduce the bad, which is the badi lah. I see.
Or like people praying that, the doll's my friend, a real imaginary friend.
Yeah. And the doll moves.
And then the doll moves because you've given it, you fed it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, now that you're older, are you able to still discuss and talk with spirits? Have you had that ability?
But whatever you do, don't talk with them here. All right, talk to us here. You can talk to them after you're done at your house.
I've done it before. I've done it before.
But you knew it was because you're older. You knew it was a spirit.
Yeah, I only did it because of necessary reasons.
Right.
But not to self gain or self benefit. It's more of like trying to heal.
Okay.
Or fix a problem, right?
Okay.
And most time I'll focus on the future. My third eye now is more towards understanding the future. Making precautionary matters so that big problems does not come.
Right.
And allowing the smaller problems to manifest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
So if you ask yourself, if you're given the gift to learn more, where would you want to go? The route of the saka baka, or the route of the future and being precautionary and being successful?
Wow.
So hence probably that's why I do so much right now in my work, because I want to focus on that side.
Right.
If I'm going to start practicing spirituality in my third eye in full development, I'd rather focus it on the growth of my own future. First encounter. Let's do this.
First encounter.
First encounter.
Okay, this is what I've been waiting for.
I was in the next Shah Alam house. I was working for, back then was Richmond, my client, which now is LVMH. So I had a lot of whiskey bottles in my house, right? In my room specifically, Hennessy, a lot. It was daytime, I was not feeling well, so I slept. And when I slept, I've had many moments of humpak.
Right.
Like, what do you call it in
Sleep
English?
paralysis.
Sleep paralysis, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. This one was different. This one was my eyes managed to open halfway. And the first thing I see is a woman on my chest. It's hair, it's claws, and it was growling at me.
Growling?
It was peeping at me with his red eyes, and it was just going. And I'm just like, whoa. And I was trying, and I was not panicking, but I was trying to keep myself quiet so I can really hear if it's for real or not. The moment I realized it's real, when I was thinking about it, shit, is this real? It clawed into my thigh, very hard, clench. As we're going down, you think I'm not real?
Oh my God.
Aiman.
Yo, somebody's got to stay over tonight.
Was she squatting on you?
No, as if she, like somebody's laying on you on the bed and just like pulling down like that.
Okay.
I remember until today by heart.
Red eyes?
And red eyes. And the tip of my bed is like a metal frame. So this person could not have slide off. So I felt the dig. The dig woke me. I'm like, then when I thought, is this for real? And it's correspond to me. As it went further, it hasn't ended. I said, Fatiha, and it recited with me.
Oh my lordy.
It recited the first few verses of the Al-Fatiha, and it just suddenly went away. And I felt the fingers went all the way down.
Well, at least you know she's a good Muslim. Yeah. Oh my God, man. The claws. The claws and red eyes is the one that really.
So there was no scratches, but the burning sensation was still there. At that point, I knew it was real.
This is the most intense humpap I've ever heard.
Man, that was not even a humpap.
Yeah, I think
that was a
you
literal,
were just...
like, she was just...
And guess what?
Oh my, I don't even know if I want to know.
It did not stop there. It happened very often. But on different ways. Sometimes, like for example, I'm sleeping on the side, I see my bedroom door. As I open my eyes slightly a bit, I see a person running to me.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'll be like, yeah, it charges at you.
Chill.
So
What just happened?
When I told you to tell your stories, the build up, I thought that was going to be like, a calm build up, but motherfucker.
I just realized he was just it was just foreplay. All these stories about saka baka, like, hey guys, I'm just gonna rub you a little bit. Now come. What the fuck, Aiman? You just jerked us off. We're just coming everywhere now. Fuck lah.
Oh my God.
Oh shit.
Yeah. At that point, I knew it's not sleep paralysis because it punches you.
Do you?
Yeah.
You said you saw something running towards you.
Yeah, it runs. You notice it. It's like ha. It's like you spot me. Ha ha ha. Boom. Hits you.
Wow.
Like literally ha ha ha.
What do you think this thing is?
Okay, this is the beautiful part. So there's other moments as well, more calming or sleeping, and then you can feel it holding on to you. And as you're reciting, or sometimes you're like trying to breathe, it breathes down your neck. And you squeeze more, and you can feel the person coming to you. You're like, and you can feel the spooning. It's a nice spoon.
At least you get a nice spoon. At least.
That's the most subtle ones.
I'm a bit like fearful of laughing.
No, I'm under the impression that it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The same thing that's hugging you and running after you.
Correct.
Same, right? You think it's with the red eyes?
Correct.
It's with the red eyes.
So many years later, I finally shared this with somebody and say, I could probably help you out, maybe, but you have to do it on your own. So I dwell into the world of spirituality and trying to understand it. And my guru at that time said, it's all in you. You have to let it go. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't want this shit. I'm not holding on to anything.
Yeah.
So and then only then I understood. I've been my third eye had been closed, so I had to open it up again and really see what it was. And it turns out to be the saka from the ancestral, clinging on to me for the longest time. No wonder I was so sick. And the day I confronted it, the day when I stood up to it internally, spiritually, and did some prayers, I was well again immediately, free of sickness. It didn't make sense, but it happened. So that's how I knew that, wow, I was very skeptical, but because I saw the outcome and I went through it, I'm like, oh, that really happened. I can't. It's like you disbelieve, but you do it anyways because you just want the results.
Yeah.
And you want the result to really conclude, was that real or not?
Right. Yeah.
And at that point, I'm like, oh, that shit was real.
This must be the saka that your family was talking about.
Correct.
When your grandfather passed.
Correct.
Because your eye was closed, you didn't know it was around you all this time.
That's right.
Wait, is it still around you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad that.
Woo! Okay. Well, how did you? Because you started doing spirituality.
Yeah.
You started praying more, and that's why it's not with you anymore.
But the beauty is, what's very interesting, you can get it back if you end up doing the same attributes as your past, whatever it is.
Got it.
Or you decided, come back.
Yeah.
It takes a quick moment of emotion and acceptance for it to just like, hello again.
Oh, right. Like you acknowledge it. Like
It's like one form of weakness that you allow it. It's like it's just waiting for that little door to open.
Correct.
And it's just like
There's a difference between saying it and really meaning it, right?
yeah, of course.
Like we've seen in tons of horror movies where
Yeah, penting.
where a demon cannot enter you until you have give it permission.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same principle. It makes sense, right?
Yeah,
so then,
for sure.
Then it correlates to a lot of things that we've seen, we never realized, and then it just made sense.
Yeah.
So you want to hear the best stories?
Man.
You know what? I'm ready for my cigarette. Yes. You know what, man? Go for it. Go for that best.
All right, wait, hold on. Let me breathe for a second. Breathe.
Hey, just imagine when you sleep.
Hey, diam.
In the corner.
Can you stop? Motherfucker, this guy, I swear to God.
I'm going to tell you this one story because
Naik Bulu
I think
Tales.
it's one of the best ones. I don't think it's the most scariest, but because it involved a lot of people.
Oh, okay.
So that's the beauty.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
So a lot of things.
I like how you see the beauty of everything.
It's nice that you have a beautiful life, Aiman. Okay.
So all these while the story has been telling us all one-on-one. Right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to people to correlate. Be like, you went through it. Might be whatever.
Yeah.
Sure. So this one time I was at Kampung Orang Asli. Don't ask me why. I get involved with the NGO stuff a lot. So I had my little center built up, and in Damansara Perdana, Bukit Lanjan.
Yeah, Bukit Lanjan,
that
yeah.
one.
So not many people know Bukit Lanjan is actually where Damansara Perdana is. A big space of it at the bottom is actually their graveyard.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, because
Many
DP is quite
generations.
keras lah.
like what I remember was before DP was built, the Orang Asli was in there. They had to talk to the Orang Asli people to move all the way down there.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So where they're living now, half of that space where all the cables are, that used to be a grave. So they had to relocate.
Relocate. Yeah.
So all the kids will tell me, and some of those, sometimes we see coffins flying. I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. I'm like, coffins flying? I gotta see this. This is like some American movie that I need to watch, right?
More like a Chinese movie.
Okay, we're assuming you love horror films, just like
Of course
us.
I do.
Yeah,
Of course.
that's
Because
nice.
sometimes I find it so funny that it's not as scary as the real thing.
Obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. And then
So coffins
So
flying.
yeah, so I was there in the center. I was the last one out. It's probably about not that late, probably like 1 a.m. or was it 11 p.m.? I can't remember. Okay, so I closed the gate. I got into my car, and it was a really big bush, and I was already like, this place need to cut down the trees because the street lights are not coming through. Right. So literally got into my car, and that time I was driving a Myvi, so the screen's very clear, very big. So I turn on the lights. I can't see because literally I can't really see because I'm scared I might run over kids because a lot of honestly kids like to hang by the road, sit outside.
Right.
And some of them have houses, but they don't pay for electricity bill and they just use candle or just walk in the darkness. Okay, don't ask me why, right? So I blast up my high beam, went through, and I'm like, okay, I can see the bottom of the tree is damn bright. Then I'm like, this one is extra bright. And then I drove by the tree, I'm like, why was that portion extra bright? I looked behind and I saw it. I was like, no wonder it was extra bright. It was a big white cloth dangling through the trees.
Oh wow.
Good luck. This guy, right?
Well, you think this is a joke, bro?
So I was like, oh snap, no man, not now. I was like, ignore, right?
Yeah.
I literally saw it, like I turned my back like this and I literally saw it and I'm like, it's dangling. I was like, the moment I realized, you could see it moving. I was like, step on the gas. So I step on the gas and I just try to keep calm.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm like reciting my heart, like, I have to face this little hole. You know, I'm ready to get out of this car and jump on back and just slam her. Like, let me have the sensation to beat you up at least, right? I'm like, I'm ready, man. Anyone knows I'm a fighter behind the scenes, so I would love to whack the shit out of
Adrenaline
it.
junkie is the right term for this.
I was like, I'm gonna go chaos on you, you know?
So you're saying when it got bright, you were driving past its cloth,
Correct.
You know, like a car wash.
Like a car wash thing.
Cloth was just passing.
Yeah, because I got blinded. I was like, whoa, that's so bright. I'm like, why is everything green except for, So I turned back.
It's funny how the cloth is lit up in a way.
It was
It's
so lit up. I think because my high beam was really on.
Oh, you could be reflecting it. That's
reflecting.
right. Wow, but
the
still,
fact is reflecting is very interesting.
that is interesting.
Well, generally that's the funny thing. My astigmatism is pretty bad, so anything reflected on white, my eyes start shot. So I think that reflection is more to my eye sensitivity. Right?
Sure.
So, anyways, drove by. I was like getting hyped. Yeah. Start pressing, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep calm. Drive at like 80 because it's a neighborhood, it's houses, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe it will like if I keep calm, it's not gonna catch on me, right? So I press. The car getting heavy. I was like, here we go.
Oh shit.
So I just stepped on it. Heavy.
Oh shit.
I was like, as long as it's not in my car, don't get in my car. I was like, not now, because I will really trying to figure out. I want to beat you up. I know it's a bit freaky. I'm trying to figure out, should I brake first, hop out, or jump to the back seat? I'm trying to figure this out. Never mind, fuck it, let me get to the brightest light, which is the main road. So I make a turn to the right, I make a turn to the left. It's getting a little brighter. As I turn to the further, and there was nobody, right? As I turn to my left, the exit of Bukit Lanjan. I see dogs coming. I see 2 or 3 motorcycles coming. I'm like, people, I'm safe. Guess what happened? Street light, top, off, top, off, top, off. As I'm going, 3, 4 traffic light, I saw the 2 dogs coming down. You know what the dog did? Turn back, flee. The motorcyclist, turn back, flee.
Shit.
Off, all the way up to the top of the hill. Once I reach where that supermarket where Dhamasa Pradana, what's that shop like?
It was Jaya Grocer, right?
The Jaya Grocer once upon a time, right?
The Padana Place one.
Correct. Boom. My car went speeding and everything went fine. At that point, I knew its territory is within that space. Because usually these things won't go further than its own territory.
Yeah. Wow.
What do you think it was a penunggu? Like, what do you think it was?
Yes. So eventually, she is the head. So she was living in the tree at the house that I was taking care of. That was her home.
She heard you say, you should cut these trees down.
I think so.
Maybe she was a nenek kebayan. You never know.
You never know. Yeah.
Wow. Did you ever go back there after that?
Yeah, of course. I confronted.
You confronted.
I had to confront it because I was standing my ground. I'm not gonna lose this place.
Now we know what your fight or flight response is. Wow.
So I had to face it. I took it. I took the task. I'm like, you know what? I'll make you a deal. I gave her a deal.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. That is.
Because by right, if you understand the world of spirituality, they didn't mean to want to be there.
Yeah.
And anything that comes to of a threat, they will threat back, right? So you either make a deal of like, look, you move to a different place if you want. If you find some reason to be there, I understand, but you cannot disrupt my flow. So where do we lay out it's like a business deal. Either I get someone to destroy you, and you don't want that, or you can move and not disrupt anybody and still do your own thing, but don't disrupt my place. So sorted it out. Yeah. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Well.
I mean, interesting to you, other people's nightmare. Shit.
Yeah. But eventually, a lot of people told me that they started seeing it quite often on that road. And they're like, I'm too scared to go there because I saw it, kind of thing. I'm like,
That they saw it. You said,
yeah,
oh wow.
It's not just me.
Oh,
it's not
right.
just me.
This is okay. Let me just get this straight. Where exactly it is? 'Cause so, you know, when you go down the hill of Dhammasapradana, and on the left you pass
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven,
It's
Burger King. You go straight. Then there's that corner Tom Yum place.
Yeah.
Then you make a left.
Correct.
And then so you're in between Pradana
And then
place.
you make a first right.
Yes. So you make, that's and going down. That's
All the
Bukit
way
Lanjan,
down.
right?
Yeah. They call it Desa Temuan.
Right.
So the tribe there is called the Temuans.
Temuans, yeah.
Temuans.
The Temuan Orang Asli.
Yeah, which is also affiliated and connected with the one in Sungai Buloh. So the track back there actually connects to Sungai Buloh. Actually, they're one big tribe.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Bukit Lanjan is actually my friend. Lanjan is his place.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
he is the head tribe and he owns the land.
So his name's Nanjan.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they work very closely with MK Land, right?
Correct.
Since MK Land is the one that built
Yeah.
Dhammasapradana, right?
Well,
Okay.
Aiman. Damn.
So M, you're sleeping over tonight, right?
You have to improve your baka. Bro. That's why that you be protected.
Well, thanks, Aiman.
Dude, thanks a lot, man.
That was fucking awesome stories.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, well, we're glad you never really got affected deeply in that sense, right? And that you're doing
It's all on your fate. It's there. It's just another. It's just like us, to be honest. And when you start to understand it more, is the one that is doing all the harm and causing them to be where they are. It's us humans.
ourselves.
It's ourselves, and like
It's the kind of energy we bring out.
correct. And when before you go, and then you don't get to fulfill certain things, it just starts to linger.
Right.
So it's just there. It's everywhere. In the daytime, nighttime, no difference.
Yeah.
Once you start to understand that, it makes no difference if it's dark or bright.
Yeah.
It's always there.
Yeah.
It's just that you acknowledge it, you don't acknowledge it, or you respect it, and you're like, yo,
Right.
like give me my space, you give your space, because let's do each other. We just want to live.
All right, man. Well,
Yes. Well, you guys, if you have any questions for Aiman, can follow on his socials.
put it up there next to him.
Yeah, and if you want to ask him in person, you can take his spin classes at Babel and Euphoria.
Yeah. And then after the spin class, you say, "I'm come here."
Yeah,
True or not?
And do get the Black Pass. I've heard a lot about this Black Pass, unlimited, guys. Anyway, yeah, Aiman, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Comment, subscribe.
To help us grow.
Yeah. Again, thank you, Aiman.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Sorry.
Thank you. That was fun.
Yes. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining again.
Keep tuning in.
My name is Fairil.
I'm Mo.
This is,
Aiman.
and we'll see you guys again on the next episode of